Hello, and we are live again. Nice to see everybody. We're back for another Q&A all about Trusted Router. One thing we're going to do first, we are going to do right now a demo. Even though you're watching a recording of this video now, you and I are going to do a live demo. It's like a magic trick, and I'm going to give you a superpower. So, first thing, open up your Codex or your Claude Code or your favorite agent. Let's take a second, pull out your laptop, open it up, load it. Now type in your Codex or Claude Code. This will work in Claude Code. I don't know if it'll work on other chats, but you have to have Claude Code or Codex or something else that will be able to write some little script or make a website or something. All right, so once you have that open, go to TrustedRouter.com. It's right here, TrustedRouter.com. Very easy. At the top right, click sign in with Google. You'll sign up easily, takes you a few seconds, and this will only take a few more seconds, so get ready. Sign in to TrustedRouter.com with Google. You'll see a big message at the top. It says copy message. So just click that, copy the message, and then paste that into your Claude Code and hit enter. That's all. It's gonna take a few seconds, but do that now. Just copy the message. Once you're signed into Trusted Router, copy the message and put it into your Claude Code or your Codex right now. And you'll see it thinking. It's going to TrustedRouter.com. It's searching the API. It's figuring out how Trusted Router works, what it is. It figured out it's just an API. And then it says, okay, I'll write a tiny script and I'm going to call the API. And so it starts to write the script. It looks up the models available. It's looking up DeepSeek. And then it's getting that ID, calling it, and now it's returning the answer. And now you see the answer. Congratulations, you have now called DeepSeek. And now you have powers that you never had before. You can call over 600 models. You can call any model in the world in seconds. It's a lot faster now because now your Claude Code has figured out how to use the API, and that'll be a lot faster. Call Kimi, call GLM, call an image generation model, call a video generation model. Do it all right now. You can easily do it. Add your credit card because this stuff is costs some money. Initial balance of 1 million tokens. So you can do a lot. And you can do a lot of cool things now. You can say, do it with Kimi, do it with Fable, and then now tell me what is the cost of this? And it'll tell you, oh, it's about 20 microdollars. And that's how easy it is to try another model to switch with Trusted Router. Now that we've done that demo, let's go into the Q&A. All right, first question in the Q&A. An AI router handles your prompt. Explain which Trusted Router components are public, what remains private, and how the trust page connects running code to source. Okay. So what happens here is the Trusted Router is that we are an intermediary where you pass the prompt to, and then we send it to your preferred model on your preferred provider. A provider is just a data center. That is the building that holds the GPUs that actually does the processing with AI. The providers are in the US, in the EU, and in China. So with Trusted Router, you have access to every data center in the world with every model. So when you are sending a prompt, Trusted Router receives that prompt encrypted through the TLS connection, keeps it entirely safe, doesn't look at the prompt, and then just sends it off to where it needs to go. Some of the providers, some of the data centers are training on data, like DeepSeek in China. Some of them are zero data retention, like OpenAI. And some of them are end-to-end encrypted, like some of our end-to-end encrypted providers, like Shoots, Near, Fala, and Venice, and Tinfoil, and Zero G. So these are all examples of things that are encrypted end-to-end at the data center. So when you send it to one of those through, you can specify in Claude Code or whoever's calling it that you only want to send it to totally end-to-end encrypted or confidential providers, then we will only send it there. And then your prompt is through the whole chain, end-to-end encrypted, verifiably. The trust page on TrustedRouter, on trust.trustedrouter.com, tells you all the information you need to know. It tells you the attestation information, so you know what is running and where it's running, and lets you can ask your Claude Code to verify that end-to-end yourself. And that's what's really cool about TrustedRouter that nobody else does. Let's go to the second question. If you can afford one strong model call, put it at the end. So that's related to our, the question is related to our Prometheus research. So we found that since we're a router, we can route to any model in the world and put it together. So what we can do is actually route to multiple models at the same time for your deep research questions and put them together. And when you do that, you actually get an answer that's smarter than any of them individually. And that's because of neurodiversity. And so when you combine them, you actually could get better than the best model, better than Mythos. And so when we've done research on this, there's two components to doing this research. One is you start with a judge, which summarizes the information from the different models, and then a synthesizer, which puts it together into one answer. We found that the judge doesn't matter so much in putting the information together, but the synthesizer matters quite a lot. We saw a huge jump when we use a smarter synthesizer. And so we publish all these results as we do for all of our research, and it's all in our blog and all in our GitHub, so you can research it yourself. Let's go to the next question. 3 models looked useless until we removed 2 together. Yeah, so this is related to our more of our research when we looked at the fusion. So we started with 3 model fusion, then 4 model fusion, then 5, then 6, and we started seeing, wow, we keep seeing big benefits. And then we thought, well, are all these benefits happening because do we need all these models, or can we get away with only having some of these models? So we did an ablation experiment. Ablation means you try out different experiments and see what really matters. So when we ablated, we found that the 3 models actually mattered, like taking out one of the models actually made it perform about the same. And taking out a different model also kind of performed about the same. So we thought, okay, these 2 models don't matter. But when we take out both of the models, it performed much worse, statistically significantly worse. And so even though it might seem like a model doesn't matter, it's within the error bars, they all have a cumulative effect, again, because of the neurodiversity. We found benefits even having up to 9 models, even if that model is the same model, just run over and over again, because there's so much variance, even run to run. And that's a lot of the exciting stuff we're researching at TrustedRouter about how to get the best out of your models, no matter what you want to use, and again, much cheaper than you have to pay for Fable. All right, let's go to the next question. So the same weights are not the same endpoint. So what we found is in our research is that some of the models, even if it's the same name of the model, same version, same number of parameters, they can perform very differently depending on which data center they're run out of, depending on which provider. So if it's run on a certain provider, maybe like deep infra, then you'll often see that it has been trained to be, it's using a different kernel, and also they're using a way to compress it into, let's say, 4-bit floating point. This helps it run on less RAM, but it also hurts performance. Whereas some other systems give you the full speed and run at, say, BrainFloat 16-bit or sometimes native 8-bit format. And so you sometimes really have to decide, well, do you care about the performance that much, or do you want generally the knowledge in it, or do you want to say, no, I only want to go to this provider. That's the only one that's good enough for my application. And I think you should definitely set that one that's important to you. We also found differences. I mean, this one's really fascinating. So we created a new benchmark called Freedom Bench, and Freedom Bench is also on our GitHub, and it asks questions of a model about Chinese history, about Tiananmen Square, about the Uyghurs, and about Winnie the Pooh and Xi Jinping, and it figures out which models are actually going to talk about it and which ones are going to zip up, which ones are going to be slanted politically, which ones are saying, sorry, I can't answer that. And we found that actually many of the root models are not censored in the weights. They are censored by the host, by the provider. So the ones in China censor, and they censor differently. Some of them censor by just erroring, just gives you an error. Some of them just don't return anything. Some of them say, sorry, I refuse to do that. And that's really fascinating. But it means that, as you know, in the US, you probably don't want all your answers to be biased in that way. So you probably need to be calling a US provider. But sometimes for testing, you just want the cheapest thing possible. So yeah, just send it over to DeepSeek, get something really cheap. That's all we have for today. Is there anything else we want to talk about that's happening? Oh, GLM 5.3 just came out today. Very exciting. It was the secret Ox Alpha that they were launching. Interesting thing about GLM 5.3 is they clearly have a lot of capacity for hundreds of trillions of tokens. So they can do quite a lot. They claim to be zero data retention, but they're in China. And as we all know, zero data retention is not a real strong way of actually knowing what's happening with your data. It's a contractual thing and doesn't even, means different thing. It means a different piece of the contract it's a different contract for each company because it's just a made up term. And who knows what they're really doing with your data or synthetic data. And so that's what we're trying to fix with TrustedRouter. We want you to actually know what's happening with your data. Look at the source code, verify it, and be absolutely confident you know what's happening. So that's all for today. Thanks a lot for listening, and see you.